Hey guys, welcome to Cooking with Class. My name is Chef Gooch, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking all about corn. It's the end of summer, early fall, and so I really like taking a look at vegetables when they're in the peak of their season. I've got a couple of my practicum students with me. These are fourth-year students for culinary. Right here we've got
Emily. I'm from Talkington. I'm a senior.
and
Havana, I'm a senior at Estacado.
all right, so I'm gonna get them started. We're gonna make a lot of dishes today. We've got some succotash. That is a Native American dish that consists of beans and corn. We've got some lima beans right here. And then I've got these anasazi beans. They're kind of red and white. They've been soaking. We're gonna get those cooking. And then what else is gonna go in the succotash? Some corn, of course. Show Emily a little trick right here, and then I'll let her cut this up. But I've got one bowl inside another bowl, and to cut this corn off the cob, this way my knife doesn't hit the edge of my bowl, and it's just gonna kind of fall around inside. So you can set it up like this, and then cut it right off, okay? What else is gonna go in there? We've got some sweet peppers. These are not spicy at all, they're sweet. To cut these up, let's do a small dice. Like that. Yeah, small dice. You know what you're doing. Emily's one of my competitors, got first place in regions last year and went to state. And then we've got some squash and some zucchini as well. We'll do like not a small dice, let's do just a little bit bigger, maybe a medium on these. You can go ahead and square it off. Yeah, about like that. And then, yeah, not too much bigger than the corn. I guess that is still pretty close to a small dice. Now we want everything to be roughly the same size. That'd be really nice. And then lastly, I've got some poblano peppers. And so for these, if you would char them over a fire back there, and then we'll peel the skin off. And that'll give these a lot of flavor, and we can cut them up the same. And then the last thing you need to cut up is some bacon. So we'll cut the bacon up also in the small dice. So get all that cut up, and we'll be ready to make succotash. Succotash is a really great dish. It is a Native American dish, and it's inspired by one of the ways that they grow some of the vegetables. So we're using the Three Sisters, which is a technique in growing vegetables where you have corn, and then beans grow around the corn, and you have squash as ground cover. That's why this dish has a lot of corn, it's got some squash, and we've also got these beans. I've had these soaking for a while. They're gonna take a couple hours to cook, so I've got some that my students started earlier as well. Havana, will you go throw those on the stove, and then I'll get you started on some hush puppies. All right, Emily is working on the succotash. We'll throw all that together in a minute. Me and Havana are gonna start on some hush puppies. So hush puppies are awesome. Go ahead and start mixing this up. Hush puppies, they get their name from telling little puppies to hush. So when people come into your kitchen and they're like, hey, and they're trying to steal some of your food, you throw some hush puppies at them and it gets them to be quiet. At least that's how the story goes. So these are going to be, it's kind of like a fried cornbread. It's a fried fritter. So we've got some oil that's heating up right here. We're gonna get it up to about 350 degrees. Turn that up. And so Havana's gonna start stirring up. We've got about a cup of cornmeal and 3/4 a cup of AP flour. A little bit, about a teaspoon of baking powder. And half a teaspoon of baking soda. And then I've got a little bit of sugar, about 1 tablespoon. I'm gonna do a pinch of salt. All right, and that's all of our dry. Get that mixed together really nice. And over here I've got 3/4 a cup of buttermilk and 2 eggs. And once your dry is nice and mixed, you can add all of your liquid. And it's gonna be really thick. We want it to be really thick. Don't use a whisk. I've given Havana a rubber spatula to stir it up. Yeah, get that egg incorporated. Try not to over mix it because that liquid will start developing some gluten. And we want these to be nice and soft, little fritters. Almost there. That's perfect right there. I've got a little scooper here so we can get it into our oil. And you want them to kind of stick, like they shouldn't fall out. That's how thick we want it, so that when we drop it into the oil, it's gonna hold its shape. But before we do that, we're gonna turn this into 2 different variations. So what I like about hush puppies, super versatile. They make a really great snack. You can do them as savory or sweet. You can add all kinds of mix-ins. Okra hush puppies are amazing. We're gonna do 2 different variations on the hush puppies, but there are 1,000 combinations you can come up with. You can add vegetables, you can add okra, cheese is great in there. I'm gonna do one that's a little sweet, so we're gonna take some of this, set it aside, and add a little honey. And then the other ones, we're gonna add some green onion. These are great. You can dip them in all kinds of sauce. I like hot sauce, and that's what Havana's gonna make right after this. So let's go ahead and why don't you cut up some of these green onions, and I'll get us another bowl and we can split it into 2 different batches. Peppers are done. Emily's got our roasted poblano, so we'll let these sit for a minute, and that skin is just gonna peel right off, and that adds, a really great flavor. So let's cut these on a really nice bias. So what we wanna do, line up your knife at about a 45-degree angle with the board, and then just get in there and start going like that. So we got a really fun shape, and it'll look really nice. Go ahead. No, you can just throw those to the side. Just get that. Sometimes the very end of your green onions, it doesn't taste great. We'll put some of this in here. Ooh, also, yeah, we could steal some of Emily's corn. You could mix some fresh corn in here. That'd be great. Yeah, keep going till about the last inch. Looks good. Our oil is almost hot enough. I'm gonna mix just like 1 real big spoonful of honey in here. Here you go, Havana, you can do that. And we'll mix the onions into this one. Uh-oh, my hand's gonna get real dirty. Cheese would go great in here. So many possibilities. That looks great, yeah. And then just kind of fold this one, just kind of toss it around like that, and that'll work. All right, for our hush puppies, we're getting ready to fry these off right now. I've got a spider to help me scoop them all out, and we've got a bowl with some paper towels. So Havana, let's grab that. Let's do one of the green onion ones first. Grab that scoop and go ahead and just drop one in there. Don't drop from too high. Don't splash me with some oil. Yeah, get a little scoop. Get it close. Okay, don't do any more. Let's wait and test one out. Make sure the oil's hot enough. It's coming up, it's floating on the surface, but it's not bubbling a whole lot, so our oil might be a little cold. We'll let it kind of warm up, and then we'll be ready. All right, while we're waiting on the oil to heat up for our hush puppies, we're going to make a hot sauce. One of the other dishes we're going to be making today is some fried catfish using some cornmeal breading. And I'm going to show you guys how to make 2 of my favorite sauces that go really well with fish. And the first one is a hot sauce that's very similar to Tabasco. It's mostly peppers and then also vinegar. Those are the 2 main ingredients. This is a great sauce, really easy to make. Just follow a ratio of equal parts by weight, pepper and vinegar. So I've got here about 2 pounds of vinegar, and right here I've got 2 pounds of those sweet peppers, and for that little bit of heat, 1 really big habanero. So we're gonna leave these stems, seeds, everything, and we're just gonna throw it into this pot of vinegar. Go ahead, help me out, Havana. We'll get all this in there. It's gonna get real smelly in here from all the vinegar. All we wanna do is bring this to a boil. As soon as it boils, we are done. We'll turn it off and let it sit. We're gonna blend it all together and strain it out. Don't worry about the stems or any of that. This hot sauce is really great. I like to ferment it. So from my own garden, around late August, early September, when all my peppers are coming off the plants, I'll make a lot of this hot sauce. And the way we're gonna ferment it is we leave it exposed to the air. We'll put it in a mason jar, cover it with some cheesecloth, and I let it sit until about Christmas in a closet. And it'll bubble up, nothing can get inside of it, and that gives Tabasco that like really pungent flavor, is the fermentation. Ours today isn't gonna ferment at all, but just something you can do with it and increase the flavor over time. So we're gonna bring that to a boil and then pop it in the blender. Let's check on our fritters, our hush puppies. All right, the temp has come up on our oil, and so we're getting some nice color, lots of rise from the baking soda and the baking powder. So good job there. Whew, that one's pretty hot. Yeah, now we're up to 350. They're gonna take just a few minutes, Savannah, so if you wanna get started, let's do all of the green onion first. You can drop about 5 or 6 in there at a time, maybe do 2 batches of those, and then we'll switch over to this one and try and get them, like flip them over if they will. Go ahead. Yeah, don't, she's doing it perfect, nice and low. You drop from too high, you're gonna get a good splash. Beautiful. You know what, we can probably just do all of them. Yeah, you'd be fine. Temperature's not dropping too much, so we'll be okay. All right, Havana, these are looking really good. We got a nice golden brown, and they kind of rolled over on their own, so flip them around. Let's see if they're evenly cooked on all sides. Oh, those are great. Let's go ahead and pull them. It's a great little batch of hush puppies, and that was only like half of our batter. And so now you can go ahead, let's scoop in the sweet ones. And if anybody's coming by, we can hush them up with our hush puppies. Yeah, so cut that squash the same as the zucchini. When you have crookneck squash like this that is different diameters, I like to just kind of section it off, and then you can do that squaring like you did earlier. And then Havana, if you will help her out, let's cut up this bacon. It's nice and cold, so we're going to dice it up just like everything else. So let's take and go about right there like that. And then go across and then back across the other way. Yeah. Use the whole edge of the knife. Push it all the way through. Use the, yeah, there you go. Sharper, right? When you push through, yeah. That's probably good. Turn it now, and then let's just, yeah. There you go, perfect. Keep going. So for our succotash, we've got some cooked beans. We're gonna start in a cast iron skillet with this bacon. Let some of the fat render out and the bacon almost get crispy. And then all the vegetables and the beans and a little bit of the bean cooking liquid are gonna, yeah, do it all, are all gonna get tossed in, and we'll stir it around, season it with salt and pepper. And then I think we'll add a little basil on top of that and call it good. We'll have our succotash. Looks good. All right, so Havana's got the bacon ready. Emily's almost done with all the veggies for the succotash. So we're gonna take this over to that cast iron skillet and start rendering out some of that fat. There you go. Here, take this spoon as well. Yes, ma'am, that works. Right there. Go ahead, Havana. Get it all in there. Perfect. And then spread it around, just let that cook out. All right, Emily. How are we doing? We got all of our veggies?
Yeah.
All right, let's get that bowl out of there. All right, so Emily has cut up all of our veggies for the succotash. These are those anasazi beans that I got cooked. I'm gonna toss those in. And these are some lima beans. I left a little bit of the cooking oil in there, or cooking water as well. So we're gonna add those. It's gonna add a bunch of fun textures and flavors to this succotash. Last, we've got these peppers. We let them sit kind of covered, and that softens the skin. So now we can just take, and these will peel real easy. I'll get my hands real dirty and then let Emily cut these all up. Just gonna peel all that skin off. You can use a paper towel or even a dish towel and put it in between. One thing a lot of people try and do is wash it off. We don't wanna do that. We don't wanna wash away that good flavor. So just kind of get that skin off. Okay, go ahead and slice that one up. We just left them in a bowl and covered it, but you can throw them into a Ziploc bag. And that steam that produces in there, it kind of just helps out and release this skin from the pepper. Yeah, just like the other peppers, cut one side off, or these kind of open up even. You can just kind of open it and get rid of that, the top if you wanted to, the stem. All right, we've got all the ingredients for our succotash ready to go. Let's go ahead and scrape all those peppers into that bowl, Emily. Perfect. And then let's cut up a few tabs of butter. Let's go ahead and you can just cut up with that. Let's do like 2 or 3 little tablespoons. We're gonna add that to the bacon when we come over there. Go ahead. Yeah, perfect. 3, I like it. All right, let's take this over to Havana and we're just gonna toss it all together and cook it. All right, so we've got our bacon, looks really good and crispy, good job. You can drain off some of this bacon grease, but I think we're gonna use it. And so let's just go ahead, scrape all that in there, get it all, Emily, grab us like 2 towels. We're gonna need a towel. Perfect. All right, so what I want you to do, so this is a really big skillet, it's kind of hard, so this might need 2 towels, but we'll just kind of, it's too heavy to do like a big flip, so go ahead and just kind of stir that around, make sure everything cooks. It's gonna take about 5-10 minutes, keep it in the pot, and then we'll season it with a little salt and pepper, and then finish it with a little basil. All right, our hush puppies are cooked, our succotash is working. Next up, Emily and I are gonna make 2 sauces from scratch. We started that hot sauce earlier, we're gonna finish that, but first we're gonna make some homemade tartar sauce. I think tartar sauce that you get from the grocery store, a lot of times it's really sweet. And you can kind of control the flavor and the acidity when you make it from scratch. You don't have to make the mayonnaise from scratch as well, but we're going to today. Start off, I got some extra pickle juice. These are capers. I've got some mini gherkins and also some dill pickles mixed in there. That's all for the tartar sauce along with the shallot. And then for my mayonnaise, we've made mayonnaise on this program before, so we've got an egg yolk, some white vinegar, some salt and sugar, and some oil. So first things first, let's get the vegetables cut up. We'll pull them out, we make the mayo, and then we add it all together. So with this shallot, let me show you real quick, Emily. So it's a type of onion, but they're kind of difficult to cut if you've never cut one before, just because they're really funky shape. So inside here is like 2 little miniature ones. You can see it's got like the base of like 2 onions. So I'm gonna cut through that outside skin that's holding them together. And then hopefully they'll separate perfectly. And it's kind of like you already have an onion cut in half. Does that make sense? So if you look at it, it's like we just cut an onion in half. So I would take it and then really, really fine. Let's do a brunoise. So about 1/8 of an inch by 1/8 of an inch. Okay, can you do that? Can you finish from here? All right, go ahead. How's my succotash? Oh, that's looking really good. Keep going. Let's turn the heat back up because it dropped a lot. It's bright, colorful. It looks nice. Let me get a spoon. We'll taste it. We'll season it. Tell me what you think. It's good. It's great. I think the squash is still a little hard, so it just needs to cook a little bit longer. All right, we tasted the succotash. It was really good. Flavor-wise, it's all there. It's coming together. That cooking liquid from the beans is really nice with the bacon and the bacon fat. The only problem is that squash and the zucchini. They're still a little undercooked, so we're gonna go a little bit longer over there. I think this is enough. I bet that's good right there. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, Emily. We also have some pickles. Let's do about half these pickles. I want you to just real rough chop. We're gonna let the food processor do the work on those. So just give me a real rough chop. Just chop them up. Yeah, just like that. Chop all of them up. Let's get them in here. Yeah, drop them in. Let's do about that many right there. We'll do some of the capers as well. Just gonna rough chop this, blitz it in the food processor, and then we'll start the mayo, and then we'll add it all together and we'll have some tartar sauce. All right, perfect. Yeah, scrape it in there. I'm just gonna pulse this. Interesting. All right, we're gonna make some mayonnaise from scratch now. So we're gonna start off with 1 yolk, and we wanna add a little bit of acid. I got a little bit of vinegar. A little bit of Dijon mustard also works, or some lemon juice. Start whisking. Yeah, really fast. And at the beginning, we want to barely add any oil. I'm just gonna drip some in. It'll take a minute for it to emulsify. When you get tired, let me know. We'll switch off.
Okay.
Faster.
I'm tired.
And one thing, if your hand gets tired, go the other direction. So you're holding it this way, but you can switch it this way. Okay? Keep going. Drizzle that oil in. Real slow. It's coming together. Yeah, keep going. So egg yolks contain lecithin, which is a natural emulsifier, and that's going to cause the water and the oil to actually bind, and so they will emulsify as long as we're whisking really fast.
You want to switch?
Now go ahead and switch, and then nice. So for that 1 yolk, we'll probably end up using close to a full cup of oil. So this will make around a cup of tartar sauce. Yeah, keep going. It's starting to come together, so you can start adding the oil a little bit faster. Keep going real fast. Now we can start streaming it in. Oh, you stopped. Don't let it break. All right, you can trade off. I'll go now. Go ahead, Emily. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Go, go, go.
Keep going. You can see the mayonnaise just starting to come together. This is going to taste really plain right now, so we're going to add a little bit of sugar and just a little bit and some salt. Might just like that. And then let's add in some of our pickle mixture and our shallots as well. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm in there. Oh, I missed. All right, so we're gonna stir this together, taste it. If it's too thick or it needs a little more, you can add some pickle juice to thin it down. That's always awesome. It looks great though already. I can tell it's some good tartar sauce. That looks really good. What do you think? It's not too thick. We don't need to thin this down, so we don't add any pickle juice. All right, so now we're gonna prep our catfish for frying. So what we're gonna do, we've got our catfish fillets, we've got some flour, buttermilk, cornmeal. We need to season this. So I've got a couple of things to season this with. Some people like to season the beginning flour, but I always like to season whatever you're ending with. So whether it's the flour at the end, the cornmeal, that's what you wanna season. So we've got some smoked paprika. Oh, this is a brand new bottle. Will you open that for me? And then we've also got some Old Bay seasoning. So I'm gonna add some of this. I'm also gonna add some salt, and we're gonna mix that all in with our cornmeal. Get a good couple of shakes on there. Perfect. Just mix that up. All right, so we've got our breading station all set up. We're gonna work left to right, okay? So flour, buttermilk, into the seasoned cornmeal. And then once you get that all loaded up, why don't you take it over to the fryer. We'll check the temp. We want it to be at 350, and I'll have you start frying it. And while she's doing that, Havana and I are gonna finish that hot sauce. I like to have a wet hand and a dry hand. So you might wanna have like one hand that you touch it for the flour, and then for the last one, and then one for in the middle. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you got it, keep going.
So this will be my wet hand.
Yep, it is now.
Aye, aye. So.
Yep, and now you switch hands, because you don't want to get all that all over your wet fingers. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're gonna dump this in here, and then we're gonna blend it. We're gonna grab a towel to cover the top. When we're blending a hot liquid, we're not gonna use the center of our blender. That way the steam that builds up, it can pop the lid off and splatter us. So we'll leave that off. We'll just cover it with our hand with a towel.
Okay, because this is very heavy.
So we're gonna start on low. Now we're gonna run it through a strainer. That way, any of those bits of seed or stem, that we just get those out. All right, while she's finishing that, Emily and I are gonna go fry up this catfish. Watch them. Sometimes when I do this at home, I might not do a deep fryer, but we already had the hush puppies going, so we had a little bit deeper. I would do maybe a cast iron skillet, only do about ½ inch of oil. Shallow fry on one side, flip it over. With the deep fryer though, probably don't have to worry about that. Yeah, you're not gonna have to worry about flipping it. Just watch, pull it out, check for the crispness. Maybe about 2 minutes, and then pull them out. There you have it, guys. There's our focus on corn for the end of summer. Thanks for joining us, Emily, Havana. Thanks for gorging with Gooch.
This has been a production of the students and staff at Lubbock ISD TV.